flag of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. For millions of girls everywhere, it stands for the friendship, adventure, and service of guiding. All over the world, it reminds guides of their promise to take their service to the world about them. Their ways may differ, but the ideal of helping others is the same in every land. In Mexico City, the sun is just coming up. Today is going to be a special day, the Corpus Christi Fiesta. On their way to the cathedral, festival crowds gather to watch the Aztec dances. Lupe and Carmen are Mexican girl guides. They have stopped for a minute in the square, but they have a project in the market and cannot stay long. It is a special day for them, too. They have lettered this poster themselves. It tells of classes their guide company is giving in reading and writing. They hope to find some students today in the market. A Mexican market is a good place to look for anything. A canario tells fortunes, and a photographer takes pictures. Nearly everyone who comes here finds something to take home. There is even a mechanographer who types letters for those who cannot read or write. Juan, a market porter, is one of the many who must read and write through the eyes of the mechanographer. He has never had a chance to go to school. He would like to get a better job making deliveries outside of the market. But always someone asks, "Can you read this address?" And always Juan must answer, "No." Everywhere about him he sees words. Words about places, things, and people. A world he cannot understand. What does that say? Learn to read and write. If he will go to their headquarters, the guides will teach him. He will think about it. Where Juan lives, the people are very poor. The schools are small and crowded. From the time he was a young boy, he has had to come into the market to work, while about him the city has grown and changed. At the university, there are many who have worked and learned. This is his chance. He decides to go to the guide headquarters. He will see about this reading and writing. Inside, he finds students of all ages. Some are writing their own letters, and others are even learning arithmetic. But one must start at the very beginning. He must learn the sounds of words before he can learn to read them. If the guide teachers find their pupils eager and quick, it is because there is so much to learn. And the teachers are learning something too. By taking responsibility and sharing their knowledge, they are finding patience and understanding. Lunchtime is siesta time, and everyone hurries home to eat and rest. But there is no siesta for Carmen. After lunch, she will give lessons here, too. Manuela has been with Carmen's family for many years. She has always wanted to read and write, but there is so much work she cannot get to the school. So Carmen brings the school to her. Soon Manuela will be able to pass the literacy test and read stories to her grandchildren, too. This afternoon, there is a graduation for some of the students. Juan knows that he will have to work hard before he can be among them, but it will be worth it. Both the youngest graduate and the oldest can look forward to a new life. Now, to celebrate, the guides have planned a fiesta of their own. A piñata filled with prizes and candy is hung overhead, just out of reach. For a long time to come, everyone here will remember this fiesta and the school, the fun and the work. For the guides as well as the students have discovered a new world of knowledge and understanding. Far across the sea from Mexico, at the top of the world, is Finland. The morning sun sparkles on the city of Helsinki. Isla Anna and Helka and their company are up early. They are taking a group of younger guides out to the country. But today they have planned more than just an outing. They're going to play a special game. The guides call it a wide game. A wide game is an outdoor adventure in which girls are challenged to use the guide's skills and knowledge that help them to be prepared. The game today is based on a fairy tale about a beautiful princess who is carried off by the winds. In the old Finnish legend, a prince seeks 3 tasks that will free her. He must begin by finding the mother of the winds. Isla Anna wonders if the game will be too hard for the young guides, if they will be able to find the princess. For like little Maya Anna, they are all blind. But they can still feel and hear the great forest about them. The guides are near to help if necessary. Maya Anna was the youngest and went first, but now Lisa comes hurrying to pass her. She stops to listen. The waves tell her where the Wind Mother lives. Helka, dressed as the mother of the winds, gives her the first task. She must peel a potato. This should be easy. But Lisa has never seen a potato. Annalisa has found the Wind Mother too. When she has finished her task, it must be checked. Then she is sent off to the next station, the North Wind. The way to the North Wind is long and difficult. The older guides watching know that this is more than just a game. It is a way of sharing their everyday world. Dressed in a fur coat and lap hat, the North Wind waits. Icicles tell Aries she has found the coldest wind. Tertu has already finished her second task. She has made a bird of pine cones and leaves. But for Tertu, it will fly far and high. A stretched cord leads to the last station. Fastened to it are safety pins, warning eager feet to step carefully. Here she will get instructions for the last deed. But first, a question from the guide Law. Tertu knows the answer. She is given a cup to fill with water from the spring. With this, she will free the princess who waits at the crest of the hill. And now, finally, little Maya Anna climbs the hill. Have I any water left? She asks. She has. But there is one last task. She must find a clover. Maya Anna knows the shape well. It is like her guide pin. Now she has found the princess. And in her own way, she has seen her too. In the United States, autumn has already begun to color the trees of Elizabethtown, New York. Tomorrow is an important day for these guides, or Girl Scouts as they are called. An important day for the whole town. Tomorrow is Election Day. Barbara and Ellen are giving out last-minute voting reminders. But this is not all they've done. They've been working as hard as anyone in the county to make sure there is a good turn of polls. It all began many weeks ago. Mr. Douglas from the State Election Board had come to tell the Scouts about this election. He showed them how each voter would make his choice and how the votes would be counted to determine who should serve the community. Even though they were too young to vote, the Scouts wanted to help. They began to plan ways of making this election a good one. The posters they painted took no sides. The most important thing was for everyone to vote who was eligible. But it was hard not to have favorites. As they made up the Aid to Voters armbands, sorted the voting tags, and counted out the leaflets, They began to wish they too could vote. They all wanted to see the best man win, but not everyone agreed who the best man was. That was why there were elections. The Scouts gave out their reminders as the election drew near. Mrs. Reed was not sure she could get to the polls, for one reason or another. Anne offered to babysit while she voted. Mrs. Dexter did not think she could make the long trip to the polls alone. Helen would arrange to help her there and back. With the voting only a few days off, the whole town began to stir with interest. This little county election was going to be as exciting for Elizabethtown as electing a president. And then election morning. Anne arrives and Mrs. Reed gets an early start. As the voters hurry in, each must be checked carefully in the registration book to make sure the voting is legal. Mrs. Dexter goes into the booth alone. No one sees her choice. Later in the day, Louise brings sandwiches, and the voting officials are glad to take a few minutes rest. The voting has been heavy. The townspeople are pleased at the interest the Scouts have shown, for they will soon be voting in these elections themselves. For the children, the Scouts have arranged a temporary nursery. Resourcefulness and training help these Scouts serve in many ways. As the last of the voting tags is fastened on the last of the voters, the polls are closed and the election is over. Now the votes can be counted. The town waits eagerly to find out who has won.
Here are the returns from the county seat just in. In the close race for supervisor, James George defeated Wallace Murphy with a count of 330.
Some are pleased at the results. Others will have to try again next time. But when the final vote is announced, everyone can be proud.
334 to 278. Today's turnout was the largest turnout of voters in the town's history.
And the Scouts can be especially proud. Their enthusiasm and service have helped the whole community, the wider community to which they belong. All the way around on the other side of the world is Burma. It is morning just outside the city of Rangoon. The sun shines on the dome of the great Shwedagon Temple, which for almost 1,000 years has welcomed Buddhist pilgrims from all over the world. In Burmese, Shwedagon means Golden City of Rangoon, and beneath its tower is a golden city of glittering spires and pagodas. With the ringing of the prayer gong, the day begins to stir. A legendary Chinta stands guard at the gate. The spirit of Buddha seems to come to life. As Buddhist priests come and go, a group of girl guides arrives for morning prayers. Their uniforms are patterned on the traditional Burmese longi. Like all pagoda visitors, they remove their shoes to show respect. Inside, they buy flowers and offerings to go with their prayers. Nian Nian and her guide friends have often come here together to pray. But today they have a special project as well. When they reach the marble platform at the pagoda, the girls separate into smaller groups and each goes to a particular shrine. About them as they pray are many different figures of Buddha. Each represents a different mood or spirit of a great leader who lived over 2,500 years ago. For them, he is a friend and inspiration. They try to follow the ideal he taught. The temple welcomes many, and many must help care for it. Today, it will be the guide's turn. They join the rest of their company on the pagoda platform. With rush brooms and water, they will sweep the great marble floor. The Shwedagon is one of Burma's most famous temples. These girls share with other community groups the task of keeping it beautiful for its many pilgrims. Work is easy when everyone works together. Sharing in a project is part of the fun of guiding. When the last of the platform has been swept clean, the guides are joined by Christian guide friends and are driven out to a day nursery in the country. With them is a group of children from the city. Some of these are orphans, and many have mothers who work during the day and cannot look after them. Today, the guides will look after them. Story time. Everybody gather around. Nian Nian is telling a story about a dragon that lived many years ago. He had a red tail and green wings and big black eyes. Nian Nian is a good storyteller, but no one believes in dragons anymore. Or do they? A painting class. What shall it be? A red house? Or a blue tree? Or perhaps a green cow? Painters always seem to have these problems, no matter where they live. The children have fun. And so do the guides. Before they know it, they have forgotten the time, and then it is late. They gather and watch the dancing of the ancient Mintha, singing their guide song. Through service, the guide grows, and as she grows, finds about her a new and exciting world. The world of friendship and understanding that has no boundary. The wider world.